point is, it's not as simple as that. We have K to 5, 3 school districts, and it falls the way it does from class sizes of 20 to class sizes of 28.
Mr. Bastian, and then Mr. Reitmeyer.
I'd like to follow up on what I just said.
Very briefly, Mr. Goodwin. Very briefly.
I have here the complete all the teachers in each one of the schools. We have 28 in the bachelor school. We got 41 in the high school. We got 39 in the hood school, and we got 20 in the little school. The middle school I didn't bother with. Okay, that's where I get my figures from, plus the amount of children that are in each one of these grades. And I broke them all down. I didn't bring the papers tonight because I didn't think we were going to be back on this type of thing again. You know, there's a young fellow sitting up in front here.
What is your point, Mr. Goodwin?
What my point is, there's a young fellow up here that graduated from North Reading High School when the SATs were very high, you know. And there was over 3,000 kids in the school system then, and I don't think he turned out I think he turned out very well going through the North Reading school system back then when we had over 3,000 kids. Thank you.
You have an answer for Mr. Goodwin's question, Mr. Colella.
There's also a young lady up here who graduated from the North Reading school system way back then. And yes, I did very well in the North Reading school system, and I'm very proud to say that I graduated from here in 1970. I've lived here all my life to answer your statement, Mr. Pietro. And things are a lot different now than they were then. The classrooms that I sat in the little school with, I don't even remember how many children, couldn't hold those kids that were in my class in the first grade in the little school right now for love nor money because of technology, science, everything else that goes on in that classroom. The same thing at the batch. I have a daughter in the batch who's in the 3rd grade who will not benefit from this because she'll be in the middle school by then. She is in a classroom with 21 children that is so crowded that the teacher is in the corner of the room and these kids have no place to move. If 5 more kids had to go into that classroom, it'd be really tight in a classroom that probably in 1950 or 1955
The chair is going to
could have
cut
held
this off
40
right
kids.
now, Mrs. Colella. We don't want to have a one-on-one debating society. Mr. Bastian, it's your turn.
Okay. Terry Bastian, 96 Haverhill Street. I have a quick question and a comment. I'll start with the comment. When I moved into this town, as a person who was a licensed builder that did historical renovations, I was aghast at the Batchelder School. Obviously the need is there. I would not use the word inadequate, I'd use the word hazardous. The demographics are pretty clear that we do need to build this new school. Mr. Smith, I wish that I had grown up in that Ozzie and Harriet era when things were really sweet. I know that the era that I grew up in was rough and very, very competitive, and I know that the era that my children are growing in is very, very competitive, and the needs for the new school are completely clear. We will have to bite the bullet and do this. The question is, however, is this design phase, is this also included in the reimbursement? I believe it is. I just need a clarification. So essentially, out of our $250,000, we will get 65% of that in the next 6 to 8 years. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, the chair sees 3 more people seeking recognition. We'll take Mr. Reitmeyer first.
I'd like to take the next hour to express my views. However, I'll confine it to about.
But you only have 5 minutes, Mr.
Yeah.
Reitmeyer, I'm sorry to say.
Couldn't express them all even in an hour. I've lived here in this town for many years too, 50 some odd years, not all my life yet. But anyways, I originally supported the additions to the little school, and the school building committee knows that I've been in heavy support of this new school until last Thursday evening. apologize to Trish Colella and her hard-working committee. I have been in constant touch with Trish, calling her on the phone many times. Matter of fact, I think your husband will probably get a little suspicious here. But, I have given her a lot of support, and I have supported it, again, until last Thursday evening. Looking down the road, with this constantly rising tax rate, which is going to be maxed every year to 2.5%, plus the overrides that are going to be coming in and going to be needed, the taxpayers are not going to be really able to afford this. I feel, what I personally feel, we have run out of control, actually, school department. That is my personal opinion. I only wish that the students in this town were getting as much out of the school department as the school department is getting out of the taxpayers. If they were, we would have the smartest kids in the state.
Point of order, state.
I understand what we're discussing.
Mr. Reitmeyer, the chair will put it a little bit differently. These are arguments ad personam, and the chair would prefer it if you kept your arguments to the issues before us instead of attacking the people who are bringing arguments with which you disagree.
That's what happened to us tonight. There's a lot of tax in. But in any case, I'll sum it up by saying, Trish, I am sorry that I will oppose this article. This town is suffering from a very severe case of maltuition.
Mr. O'Leary, the lady in the aisle, and then Mr. O'Leary. Please state your name and address, ma'am.
Yes, Marcy Bailey, 21 Duane Drive. There's been a lot of talk about build-out here tonight, and I'd like to make the point that we're not the only town facing these issues. Newspapers from the Boston Globe to the Wall Street Journal have chronicled this problem in other towns. It's an issue of demographics, plain and simple, not just of build-out. There are children who the demographics will show have not even been born yet who are going to go to the school and take advantage of it. If I could briefly address Mr. Reitmeyer's comment, it was tough what went on here last Thursday night, but I don't think taking issue with the new school is penalizing the right place. If you have an issue with the selectmen, finance committee, or the school building committee, the time to take that is at the polls in May, not tonight, and penalize our students by not giving them a new school. Finally, I think that town meeting has been generous this session. We've passed the school committee budget. We've passed the $130,000 bonding plan for the borough's road sidewalk, which I think that the selectmen, if I recall, did endorse, and they found fit that we could afford a sidewalk to benefit a comparatively small number of people who will use it and need it for safety. I think that the town could find fit to pay $225,000 for the design phase of a new school that will benefit all the children and all the homeowners of North Reading. Thank you.
Mr. O'Leary.
Steve O'Leary, 15 Mead Road. First of all, I'd like to echo the comments over there with Tommy. He's been very generous tonight, helping out with certain things. And by the same token, I hope when this new school is built, we think twice about letting the kids paint on the walls, because if you have the murals there, we might not be able to paint over them again next time. But I haven't lived here quite as long as Mr. Smith, but most of my life, like Mr. Colella and everybody else. But one thing that I have been presented with is an opportunity over the last couple of 3 years to not take the challenge, but go into the bachelor school because I have a child in there. And as far as the space needs, there is no issue as far as there should be no discussion with that issue. Technology has changed. The bachelor school was fine for a number of years, but because of the requirements now, I mean, when my kindergartner and now first grader is working with a computer terminal in the room, that wasn't there when I was in the elementary school. That requires more space. So technology alone is requiring more space in the school. But when I go in there and I volunteered, I was asked to go out and help some kids, and I was put out in the hallway. I mean, these are real issues. This is what our teachers are up against, and the aides and everybody else in the administration. They didn't do that for my benefit. I'm out there with 2 and 3, 4 kids, one at a time, helping out in a hallway, in a stairwell. They've got chairs and tables set up out there. This tells me, it doesn't take rocket science to see how to figure out, that I
wife has to work so I can live where I live right now. Those are real issues. Of course they are. But my property tax, my property value is directly related and tied to my school system. If you have a school system that stinks and can't address the needs of your kids, my property values, your property values aren't going to be worth much of anything. They're going to go down. So sure, we're going to step up to the plate and pay. Our parents did it. Mr. Smith did it. Mr. Piero did it since 1942. 1955 to 1966. They built this school. They built an addition on the Batch. They built 3 elementary schools. They built the middle school. All in 10 years. The needs changed. The community grew. Well, our community has grown. When I came here, when I came into this world, here there were about 5,000 or 6,000 people. We're almost 3 times that now. So the needs have changed. They've been addressed over the period of time appropriately. I think this is an appropriate proposal. And I think the least we can do at this point in time, whether you're in favor of the new school or not in favor of the new school, is to vote for this article tonight. Let this committee, this town meeting, put forth a proposal for the electorate, people who aren't here tonight, to vote on a good proposal with all the facts out there as to what the cost is going to be and what you're going to get for your dollar. Put the money up front for the plan so the people out there know what they're going to be voting on. If you're going to say, hey, please, give me $7 million with hopes of 2/3 reimbursement on a wish you women a maybe, of course it's going to go down to defeat. People like to see what they're going to get for their dollar. And that's what these plans are going to do. You're going to allow the general public out there to make a well-educated decision based upon the merits of the arguments. And without these plans, they're not going to have all the facts and figures. So the least we can do, the people here tonight, is to put forth a set of plans so the general public, when it comes up for an override, can make a well-informed decision. So regardless of which side of the issue you're on right here tonight, allow the general electorate that opportunity to make a well-informed decision. So I'd urge you to vote in favor of this.
Mr. Smith, just a moment, Mr. Smith. I will read our bylaw, section 2.9. No person shall speak for more than 5 minutes on any article or portion thereof, nor more than once, without first obtaining leave of the meeting, except to correct a mistake or answer a question. So if the meeting is willing to hear from you again, since you have spoken for 5 minutes, I will grant you another 2 minutes to make your closing points.
I'd like to correct a mistake. Needless to say, I don't know if you realize it, but Mrs. Colella and myself are very close friends. You wouldn't know it tonight. But just to correct, Mrs. Colella corrected me on one issue about the water tower, and I believe I'd like to correct her on another one. Bastian asked if the $250,000 would be reimbursed, and I think the answer was yes. The answer is yes, if in fact the town of North Reading votes the project through at the Proposition 2.5 override question. If you don't pass it at the Proposition 2.5 override question, it is not reimbursable, and it'll have to be paid off in a 5-year period. So I thought I'd just get even with you a little bit. And the other issue was that let me see what I got. Those 2 things. On Mr. Pothier, on your question, what I was trying to point out is, yes, it's true that the tower is going to have to be built, but what I pointed out was, rather than us, where we had the capital plan in place to build it in the year 2002, if in fact the school goes through, it'll be pushed back to the year 1998 or 1999. It'll have to be built early.